podcast is powered by Audio House Dublin.
Welcome to episode 59 of the Sold Out podcast. Joined here with Mik Pyro. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here, man.
Thanks for having me.
So I suppose I kind of said it to you there kind of earlier, but I haven't seen too many video interviews with you, so I just wanted to ask if you kind of watch many podcasts or any of the ones that kind of grab your attention or anything like that.
Yeah, I've been watching loads recently. It's such a great medium. I mean, I was just saying earlier on, it's funny it didn't get popular earlier.
Yeah.
I remember even just before it kind of took off, I was thinking, the internet is grand, but it's all kind of surface stuff. It doesn't really get into detail or into the texture of things, And then I think that's what podcasts offer people, especially the long form ones.
Yeah.
Just get so much more detail and so much more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant medium. I love Tiger Belly. I was saying that.
Yeah,
and Bobby Lee.
Yeah, Bobby Lee. Yeah, and that kind of thing. I used to like Mark Maron, but I'm a bit sick of that now.
Yeah.
But
he's doing a show over here, isn't he?
Is he? Yeah.
He's playing at Vicar
I don't know.
Street.
Is he? Yeah.
I might be wrong. I don't
Fair.
know. A bit of free promo for Mark Maron.
Yeah.
he's not really funny, but he's good. He's a good interviewer. But I don't know his comedy is. But
Yeah.
But
Joe Rogan's a bit like that for me as well. I don't know if I
he's not
love his
funny
stand up. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, he's one of the most unfunny people as a comedian. But he's good. He's good at drawing people out himself.
Yeah.
He's got good guests too.
Yeah, that's it. That helps.
But some of the right wing guys, I wouldn't be too fond of.
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's given them It's good to have a debate, and it's great. Recently, he had Cornel West. That African American intellectual guy, and that was great because he had kind of countervailing to take on things that a lot of other people did have. Ben Shapiro, I wouldn't be too fond of, and then Bernie was great. Wasn't he?
Yeah,
I thought that was fantastic because he laid out everything so clearly.
I found that one so funny though because he's like, "Oh, Joe, they don't give me enough time in the debates," and he fucking after an hour gone.
Yeah.
He could have stayed for 4 hours. You know what I mean? Like,
He's probably getting tired. He's like 79.
fucking nearly 80.
Yeah, he's great now. Yeah, I mean, that podcast. What else? I'm listening to them all the time. I find it's very kind of. If you want to go to sleep or something, you put it on.
Yeah, that's how I kind of got the addiction. Just listening and going to sleep. I can't have no noise in the room. I have to have something.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Yeah, it's probably an evolutionary thing. But back in the day, if you'd have to be safe. You'd have to be able to hear people around you.
Yeah, well, the bird song is supposed to be calming to the human brain because it means that back in prehistoric times, birds meant there was no predators around.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
We're getting deep already. I suppose with the greatest hits coming out from the loose, I guess we'll just kind of take it back to the beginning if we can. So you got your start, if I'm not mistaken, writing for your sister's band, The Chicks.
That's right. Yeah.
So was it a musical family that that was going around or?
Yeah. Well, my mom's family particularly were a lot of her brothers and sisters were musicians, and my 2 grandparents were musicians. And my uncle, one of my uncles is a kind of full-time musician, and Noel Shine, he's in the band in Greenshine. They kind of trad and folk and kind of modern folk and kind of the mixture of different genres, but it's kind of acoustic music. He's a fantastic musician. And then my other uncle was a brilliant songwriter. He used to be managed by what's his face from MCD, the head guy. Anyway, the main guy from MCD.
And, we haven't gotten that far.
And he was a great songwriter. And then my 2 aunts, they're twins, they're brilliant singers. And
that's savage.
And my mum used to play the piano. And my dad was a great singer.
Not
really professional, but he just had a great voice. My voice is my voice is similar to him. He's probably better singer. He was better singer.
That's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
But so I was kind of and my sister's a brilliant singer, brilliant songwriter. She's incredibly talented. So
what was back when the loose started? What was the music scene in Dublin?
It's kind of a lot of cardigans.
In kind of bullshit.
Yeah. Well, rainy kind of windswept kind of folk music. I mean, we kind of set ourselves up in opposition to it at the time, just because we're trying to define ourselves. I think you always kind of define yourself to some degree in opposition to what's around you. So, but it was just that wasn't the kind of music we were into, or at the time we were just listening to a lot of Wu-Tang and whatever, a lot of gospel, a lot of I suppose mostly black music from America, you know.
You can totally see that influence.
Yeah, I was made a conscious decision at one stage. I was playing a lot of rock bands. I remember they were sitting there doing my thesis in college, or doing some essay in college, and I was trying to think. I was reading all this great literature, this Renaissance literature, and I was thinking, the music I was making or the music I was listening to didn't have the same kind of depth to it, you know, that these great works of art had. And I was trying to think, what's the popular music that I can think of that has that same level of depth? And it's mostly like Wu-Tang and James Brown and you know, or even the Rolling Stones. You know, in terms of artistic quality, that to me was the stuff that moved me on a similar level to the literature that I was reading. So I kind of abandoned then. I was listening to all that kind of rock music at the time, or Massey Preachers or that kind of thing. And I just kind of stopped listening to that. And I was already a fan of soul and rap, but I started listening to that more or less exclusively, just to kind of train the brain to do something different, you know.
Yeah.
And then I just found there's a bunch of heads I knew. Dave Houghton. He was from this. There was kind of up in Dallas Isle in Churchtown. There was kind of a big music scene for whatever reason. An awful lot of musicians came out of that school in that area. Yeah, Churchtown and Rough Arnhem. Anyone we know? Well, there was a band called the Dragonfly and Lear as well. They were kind of the band Lear. They were kind of associated with that, and they're all kind of more rock and roll or Led Zeppelin type of blues, and also I used to go and see Pat Farrell, who I used to play with now. He was kind of an old school Irish blues guy, and then I just bumped into a lot of these heads that were into blues, that were in that scene. Dave Houghton was one of them, and we just started jamming kind of blues with each other, and then we decided just to form a band doing original kind of gospel blues stuff, and then we made an EP. We won some Battle of the Bands. I can't remember what it was.
That's mad.
Oh God!
And they gave us money to go into the studio for like a week, and we went in and recorded like enough songs for an EP. They ended up being 5 of the songs in the first Blues album.
Oh yeah. And then which tracks?
Something in the Water, Goofy Love, Black Bread, some all the kind of more acousticy soul or more gospely kind of stuff. And then another one of Dave's mates, Brez, he's younger than the rest of us, but he was a demon on the guitar. We all knew he was mad talented. And another guy left the band, and we asked him to join. And then when he joined, it kind of took on a life of its own. We started doing more kind of because he was good. He could play funk, you know, so could Dave. But the two of them together, we started being able to play more kind of funk and stuff. And so we kind of started dipping into that a bit, and so the first album was kind of a mixture of those two different styles, you know, and then so we kind of came in organically like that. We were all very much into listening to the same stuff, and we're kind of on the same page. So we were lucky to find each other.
Yeah. Did that like contrast much with the scene at the time? Like, were people like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, big time. It was horrible.
Who these cunts think they are?
I mean, it was kind of ridiculous because I had an American accent, and you know, I mean, I was singing an American accent, and I still do, but it's just that's some kind of post-colonial trip, I guess. So we were mocked relentlessly. I mean,
at the time, yeah.
Oh, jeez, man, I couldn't walk, especially when we comeback goes out and all that. I'd walk out.
No way.
Walking down the street, your band sucks, mate. Fucking hell. I mean, it was literally, at the time, it was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to get an awful lot of abuse.
Wasn't that bad.
No, you had to go good stuff as well, but then you tend to
yeah, of course.
The bad stuff always kind of it's your up. But
what was that like when it started to kick off?
It was I don't remember that much. But it was fun, and it was stressful, and it was exciting, and it was kind of terrifying, you know. But it was the touring at that stage, even though it was just around Ireland. Yeah, I found it kind of hard because I wasn't fit, you know, and I was partying a lot, and so I was kind of stressed out a lot of time because I'd be oh, you need to be fit to do that. I don't think people are aware of it.
I was going to say, like, what do you think is like the worst part about touring? Sort of nearly just the tiredness, I suppose, and just the.
Well, you start getting irritated with your band members.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in a van and somebody's in a bad mood and they're scowling, and then the energy picks up and everything, then it just becomes like. But then it'd be great as well. It could be turned around, everyone have a great crack with 1 minute, so it's but.
Are you on a night out or something?
Yeah. So, but it was at the start. It was really an awful lot of fun. When we were doing the first album, that was great because we were really like a gang.
Yeah.
And we kind of really. It was kind of us against the world kind of thing.
Yeah, it's all new and exciting and everything.
What were the gigs like at that time?
Yeah.
Brilliant, yeah, because that was the time. I remember, geez, they were fantastic, those gigs. I mean, that was really exciting because, we've gone from doing nothing really, playing gigs where nobody would be interested in.
Yeah.
And remember we did this really small venue, Crawdaddy, but we kind of, this is what, just, I think after the first album came out, and we played the song Hold Up, and fucking like there was all these young fellas in there that kind of looked a bit like me. They all had anoraks and fucking beards and smutty faces, and they they sang the two verses. The whole crowd sang it, and I didn't have to sing it. And it was just, it was just amazing. I mean, because you're sitting at home in your bedroom writing this shit, and then next minute people are singing it back at you. That was amazing. And then and then with the second album it became more and more like that. And at the start it was really exciting. I mean, it was really fun times. I mean, it was at the time the energy in Ireland was that, it was a lot of optimism because of the boom times, and it was a different era to. It's kind of similar now. Like it's kind of come back full circle.
Back that way.
Yeah, even more so. It was just a lot of fun. I mean, it was just great crack altogether.
Is there, like, what I was going to touch on as well was, like, is there any, like, particular moment that you kind of felt like it was really kicking off, or, like, is there a moment that kind of springs to your mind when you think of?
Yeah, we did Oxygen one year, and
that wasn't with the EP, like the.
I think that's the one we had the EP. Yeah, wearing the grey suit. And then and I was looking out because I had a vision. I remember when I was 12 years old, I had this vision of myself wearing a grey suit and like 20,000 people screaming at me.
That's nuts.
And it was kind of visualization that I had. And I remember it was a real powerful dream. I was on stage and like 20,000 people going. And I said, I just go, fucking hell! Like this actually, I'm actualizing this. And that was a great moment, but.
Did you put any stock in like visualizations or anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, it seems to work for people, but I mean, it does. Just, I mean, I know a lot of it's hocus pocus. I don't believe in the secret or anything, but I do believe that you can program yourself to do
exactly.
Like even the second time I did my leaving, my dad told me about this thing, affirmations. Where you write down. I did shit my leaving the first time, and then I wrote down 20 times every morning. I am really looking forward to doing well in my leaving cert, because I just wanted to get into college. I really wanted to study English in college, and I did that every morning. And it worked. Yeah, I mean, I doubled my points.
Just sort of keeps you focused, I guess. It's tricking your own mind into kind of doing what you don't want to do, I suppose.
It's kind of like programming yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing they do in AA or what you call that thing,
like 12 steps, is it? I think.
Yeah, 12 steps, and the other thing that what's the other thing?
Weight Watchers. Huh? Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers. Yeah. Actually, that's the only time I was skinny in my life. My mum was on Weight Watchers. I was copying her tips. But all that stuff works. I mean, I definitely do think it works. I think people who are very successful in life are good at doing that shit. I'm not really good at doing it, but there's certain periods. We were able to do it, and a lot of the guys in the band, Brez especially, was very driven, He's kind of very focused on succeeding, and he wanted, and it was good to have people like that in the band.
Definitely need someone like that.
Yeah, and Benjamin as well, and we had a great manager. Well, Dermot, our mate, he was managing us, and he was just bundle of enthusiasm, you know, and you're so positive about everything all the time that it kind of, you guys are great. You guys are the fucking best band of the fucking yo.
Who was that on the You Know track before You Know It?
That's him, yeah.
Is it him?
Yeah. That was a typical conversation.
By the way, so.
It's like he's so positive all the time that he just that helps as well, you know. I mean, it's good when you have people around you kind of cheering you on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the topic, like you were touching there on all the different sort of personalities in the band, and it's something that just because our listenership, there might be a lot of people like young musicians or whatever, maybe forming the bands or in those formative years.
Yeah.
Is there anything you've learned now, sort of like with the hindsight, you know, to maybe kind of like make that band a little bit more successful, or anything that haven't been in those shoes, I suppose?
I'd say mostly where we fell down was. A lot of it was just me. I mean, I probably should have put more effort into looking good and being technically.
But that's part of the authenticity, though. You know what I mean? Like that's what people relate to as well.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I just think that's kind of made us suffer in terms of what we were able to achieve outside of Ireland. But and just technique, I could have been a better singer. You know, I think I'm a better singer now than I was then. But I mean,
lyrically too, I think you touched on the interview recently. You were saying your new kind of your solo stuff is a step up. You feel as well.
Well, I found it hard to write. I used to some of the lyrics I used to like. I liked, and some of them I used to just make up in the studio on the spot.
Any favorites?
Lyrically,
yeah.
I like a lot of stuff on the first album. I guess Something in the Water and things like that. There's songs I don't like that much. I mean, I used to hate You Know It, that song, and I used to hate it, but now I kind of like it. But
how did it feel performing that in the late and dropping the mic?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of it's the problem with that has become the defining moment of my whole life. It's like, it was just it's typical of me that I mean, I wasn't even drunk, and everyone's go, "Oh, your mouth's locked." The problem was I wasn't locked. I had like two points of Heineken, which was
yeah.
So it was kind of a bit jittery. But yeah, I mean, it was grand, it was hilarious, but I mean, that whole time, there was kind of a cheesiness about what we were doing, which is kind of
tongue-in-cheek type thing.
Yeah, it's kind of naivety as well. There's an element of naivety. I mean, but I think that reflected the culture at the time. Ireland was a naive culture. It was the first time anyone had money.
Yeah.
And everyone in the country was going, woo!
Yeah.
You know, and...
exposed the mindsets in a lot of ways.
Yeah, or just reflected it, you know, because we were part of that. We were part of the... That was part of... You know, we were reflecting the culture.
Yeah.
In terms, our own naivety was... I think, and that's what people connect with. I think that's the Irish youth kind of connect with it because they had that goofy kind of cartoon like.
I mean, it still connects with people today. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm surprised about. I mean, I'm just delighted that people still come up and say, you know, I'm listening to this the Tim the Juice still on the, you know,
absolutely,
which is great. I mean, it's just 15 years now or something or more. Yeah. So I mean, that means it stood the test of time a bit, you know, and that's what's really.
Yeah, it's a huge achievement, like, really.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just delighted, you know, that because you put an awful lot of work into the albums. I mean, they were nearly killed us. Well, killed me anyway. The last one was out shopping. I'm only joking. You have to edit that bit out. But yeah, so. Yeah, it was just delighted that it still kind of resonates with people.
Yeah,
absolutely. You know? Yeah, like the first Whelan's gig you did was sold out, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was like. What did you expect that to happen?
No, we didn't. You mean the first Lucifer?
No, I'm talking about the first the comeback that you did.
Oh yeah,
that was last summer.
Yeah, I was.
I saw that.
Yeah, it was jammed. Yeah, and then we did another one there in New Year's. That was jammed as well. I've got another one actually on October the 4th, so I'll plug that as well.
Yeah.
Sweet. But Whelan's again.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So so I'm just delighted because people are loyal to that music. I think it's because the gigs were so much fun. We had fun, and the people had fun. It was kind of there was a really great atmosphere. And some of the gigs were just bananas. I mean, I remember we're playing in Dolan's in Limerick, and there was fucking stage invasion. Like 30 people got up on the stage. It was just we kind of had to stop the gig at one stage. But I mean, so it was just really crazy and kind of fun times. It was just Yeah, so I mean, I'm just delighted that it still resonates with people.
Does it feel different playing those loose tracks with like different musicians?
It's different, yeah. I mean, it's kind of easier in a way because I'm playing guitar now. Where I used to,
Yeah. How come you never play guitar really back in the day?
Well, I just made a decision just to. What I was usually used to play was just guitar solos, you know. I mean, I was young, I was into like Jimi Hendrix and Roy Gallagher and Eddie Van Halen and all that shit. And so that was kind of the style of guitar I played. Whereas the lads are, Brez is a fantastic rhythm guitar player as well as being an amazing lead guitar player, and he's really tight. And I couldn't, the kind of vocals I was singing, I really couldn't do
Both.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a better musician now, so it's easier. But and also, I wanted to jump around just and go nuts, you know. I wanted to be like Iggy or something. So then it wouldn't be fair. I mean, now and again, I'm not taking a guitar solo. It's not really fair because the lads we didn't have much guitar solos in the band. So if it's, you know, if the lads are playing, you know, backing me up all night, and then when it's time to take a solo, I take the solo.
Yeah,
it's not really fair, you know, because especially because they're such great musicians. So this wouldn't have been fair. But I mean, it was kind of good to come back to the guitar then. After I just kind of stopped playing it for like 12 years, and then getting back into it was
kind of brings a new element, I'd say, into performing that now.
Yeah. I like it because I can improvise. The thing that I got specific with the loose was, you know, when I came to the sound check, the lads will all be jamming, and I'll be and I'll be sitting there having great fun jamming because they all became amazing musicians, you know, after a few years. And I'd be just standing there watching them, or I'd go to the pub or whatever. Or when I was off to drink, I'd just sit in a van, you know, reading or whatever. So that made me a bit isolated to some degree from the lads, you know. And that was kind of, I think that's one of the reasons just eventually that kind of had put it to bed, you know, because I needed to be able to improvise, you know, and just express myself in the moment. I think that's what I like most about music. And you can do it a bit with vocals, but
not as much.
Yeah, you don't want to be going doobie doop 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 doop. You know, so that's what I love about it, just the ability to be able to improvise and kind of lead the band with the guitar. So but I mean, but I like the other things as well. It's just I kind of, you know, it's not one or the other, but it was quite hard work being a frontman when you're.
Look at this man is weak bladder.
Calm with it.
A few bottles.
Appreciate it. Continue mixing it.
Yeah.
Make sure he was
drinks or whatever.
Lubricated.
I suppose, like, would you say then it kind of sounds like at least that, you know, the loose never really like ran its course. It was more just sort of like the personal feeling of.
Well, what happened basically? I got fucking. I started like around the third album. I went completely bananas. So I got kind of. Thanks, man, Bush.
Thanks, man. Sam.
I just started. But by the time the third album came out, I don't know what was going on in my life, but I would go on the piss and the lads would be waiting in the studio for fucking 8 hours for me to come in, and then eventually I come in and just like, this all shit, fucking change it all. And you know, just acting the bollocks. And just you know, generally being a cunt, you know. A lot of the time because I was just insecure or whatever. I didn't know how to express myself or you know, whatever it was. So, but by the time the third album came around, there's more tension in the band, kind of a bit, you know. And then eventually, I stopped drinking, but then I found it very difficult to communicate because we were, you know, you kind of become dependent on alcohol as a kind of social lubricant,
especially in this country, like.
Yeah, big time. And so then I found it kind of hard to communicate with the lads because they were obviously still drinking because they were not alcoholics and I was, so I was kind of, I mean, I still am, I shouldn't be drinking at all, but fuck it. And, so it just then became hard to communicate, and then the kind of tension built up, and there's unsaid things and bitternesses from, you know, something you might have said years ago, or something you did, or you know, and so there's kind of eventually, I think Brad just wanted to do his own thing, and he wanted to make some money as well because we're all fucking so broke. I mean, we were living hand to mouth. It was very stressful because of that, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Any money we made, we kind of put back into the band, and they weren't. I mean,
Yeah.
And so we're all. Most of us are still living at home and stuff, even up until the second album. So it became, and Brez just wanted to leave, and after that, my taste in music when it was different. I just kind of got really into like weirder music and
Like what?
so I was into a lot of weird house music from like Baltimore club music and
In the States, is it?
yeah. It's just kind of real primal, minimalistic kind of house music that's kind of doof, 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 doof. It's that kind of like MIA used to sample a lot of that stuff and use a lot of those kind of person and her stuff, and then I got mad into that, and I got mad into kind of reggaeton and into just into kind of more contemporary weird dance music and out there stuff, and I kind of wanted to go and go-go music from Washington DC, which is this kind of strange bowdlerized version of funk music that's very influenced by Dominican Republic music, with congas and stuff. And I was mad into that stuff, and Baya Funk, or karaoke, funk karaoke, and that kind of thing. And that's my particular taste. We made the fourth album. We made was very much a weird kind of weird experimental album.
What was the rest of the band kind of into at the time? If you'd know.
There's some, well, Andre was up more into kind of soul and jazz, but he's kind of plays everything. A lot of guys are into jazz.
Yeah.
Dave was always into gospel and soul and blues, and he loved Missy Elliott. We all loved Timbaland and Missy Elliott and all that stuff.
So that probably contributed to why there's such a big sort of like mix of influences coming into the music, really. Like,
yeah. I mean, most of us were kind of all into loads of different forms of music, but and we had a lot of commonality between us, especially me, Dave, and Brez. We were all into the blues, and we're all into gospel and Anna into modern kind of rap and modern hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
So we're all into that. So we kind of fused it all together, and jazz. But so it wasn't like one of us would have one sphere of interest and the other guy. We kind of all were very eclectic, and so it's just a kind of smorgasbord of different stuff. But it was mostly stuff from the States, and it was kind of an we were kind of moving against the indie scene in England, and at the time it was a Britpop and all that, or not Britpop, but whatever indie music was around at the time, and kind of rejected that value system. The whole idea of authenticity, or the whole idea of so it was kind of oppositional that way. I think a lot of that is post-colonialism. I know that sounds like highfalutin, but I mean, I think it's because there's an insecurity. I mean, I read some essay about post-colonial cultures when they're finding their own feet culturally, once they find independence, they still tend to mimic the music of their colonizers, or mimic the music of other empires. In a kind of pastiche kind of way. So even reggae started out like that a bit. They were trying to copy doo-wop and trying to copy soul music from New Orleans, and then eventually evolved into its own thing. But there's a kind of a period where you're trying to do other people's music, and because you don't do it right, it ends up being something different. And I think that's what the case was us. We were actually trying to make it sound like Timbaland stuff, except with live instruments. But we never succeeded in doing that. But what we did was we ended up making something different, which just it wasn't even on purpose. It was more like just because, just by kind of default, really.
Speaking about that kind of stuff, like where, like how does that, how do I put this? I don't know. I suppose there's a certain kind of degree of that when it comes to Irish hip hop. The whole post-colonial thing.
I think it's less now. I think that. I think that's the great thing about modern Irish rap, is that they've left that behind. I think that's so huge. The last 3 or 4 years have been so huge.
Absolutely.
For Ireland culturally, especially because
definitely
Kojak and people like that. I mean, when you have people of that standard, I think you now have Irish rappers that are kind of as good as anyone in the world, and
it's more so just rap than Irish rap.
Exactly. And it has inherent value in itself, and it's not scared to be Irish, and there's not embarrassed about being Irish.
Well, there was a period where it would have like
Yeah,
been
definitely.
kind of frowned upon.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember even up until 5 years ago. I mean, if somebody rapped in an Irish accent, people go, "Oh, it's terrible."
Yeah.
Yeah, even with the loose, you got Styles P on I Like Music.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then that other track, Irish IR.
Yeah.
SH. With Styles P wasn't he's an American dude.
Yeah.
How did that link up happen?
Oh well, his manager was managing us in the States. Yeah, Christy Clifford. She's still in contact with me. She works for Rockefeller now, but yeah, and she was managing him, and I was a big fan, and then was just so delighted he came over to Ireland to.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was just watching him work. You know, he was listening to the track, I Like Music, and he was just sitting there smoking. I said, "You not write it down?" He said, "To me, the smoke is the paper." So, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, I was intimidated when he first came over. I thought this guy's gangster. You know? I thought he was intimidating. But he was just sound. He was getting locked with us and smoking. He says, "You guys put blem in the joints." He meant
they don't
tobacco.
understand that. Yeah.
So fuck it, I'm gonna smoke like you guys. So and he wouldn't get off the. he wanted me at the airport with fucking 10 grand in cash and 3 ounces of weed. He wasn't going anywhere. So, but we treated him well. We're just delighted that he came over, and we were just
Yeah,
That's dope.
yeah, and he's amazing genius, you know.
back at that time probably would have been a bit like an Irish rapper on that track wouldn't have been as received as well.
Yeah. These days, I mean, it's different, you know. I mean, these days, I mean, you'd be lucky to get one of these lads on it, you know, because.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time I really noticed it was I was at the Reggie Snow gig, you know.
Yeah.
The first time I came out, I didn't even know them, and I couldn't fucking believe it. I just feel the reaction in the crowd and the charisma of the cunts. You know what I mean? And just the and the kind of sense of danger about them. You know, the sense of kind of real transgression there.
How did the Reggie Snow thing come about? With Steady Song being used?
Yeah, we'll dig into that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, he private messaged me on Twitter once, going, "Man, I fucking love you. Know, I'm a big fan of your shit." And I started texting him on Twitter, and eventually he sent me an email. And I can't remember what he was talking about. He was talking about using a sample of it for a different track.
Yeah.
And then he said then eventually it turned out he was going to do a full on cover of it. And yeah, it just kind of materialized kind of organically like that. I was over the moon. I loved the version of it, and the video was fantastic.
Yeah, the video sick. Yeah.
And I think he sang it better than me, you know. And I'm just over the moon because you know, I always wanted to be we were always kind of unfashionable or whatever, unhip, or were perceived as being unhip at the time, you know. And I was kind of wanted to be. Just, you know, it was kind of, to me, it was kind of in a goofy way. It was kind of like a, what you call it, what's the word? Vindication, you know, to some degree. That you know, especially that young Irish rappers or whatever that would still embrace us.
Absolutely,
Yeah, it comes back to like we were saying at the start about influences and stuff, and like it's just proof that it does.
The only reason I'm sitting here right now is because. Yeah, I was on the podcast and he asked about influences and I said the loose. Yeah. And my only song is part at the end where I'm just screaming and I'm just impersonating like the track. We're like,
oh really? Yeah.
Tell the audience to kiss my ass. I'm just trying to do that as close to the original as I can.
Wow, man, that's awesome, man. That's brilliant to hear, man.
Fucking,
you know, man, that's brilliant. That to me makes me happier than anything else. I mean, we never made money out of it, never really got. I mean, but just that we left a mark in the culture to some degree.
Absolutely, like,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing. And it's just even I was talking to Kodak recently in Wheels, and he was saying he was telling me all about the album. I didn't know never would have thought he would have heard the album but he said you guys are influenced by the Neptunes. I can hear that. And I was talking about A$AP Rocky. A$AP Rocky is my favorite modern rapper, and he was saying the same thing. Yeah, and we just having a great chat about rap music for around an hour and a half.
Like the intro to where you're just talking, like, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
that's some fucking hard shit right there. You know what I mean? That's some like real MC kind of like fuck. You know what I mean? It's cool as fuck, and then it breaks into the track. You know what I mean? Yeah, that kind of stuff is where you can draw the inspiration from. I think, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because to me, I was listening to all those at that time, and I can't remember what it was, 2006 or whatever. that, you know, there's loads of rap albums like that, and they always have big intros. I just love that grandeur of those things, and I just wanted that.
Yeah, like you start off with like story, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Podcast too,
Yeah, I'm building bits of fucking record. You know what I mean? Like hearing that shit on the track as well, like, you know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, because it makes it. I think it makes it kind of like it puts the listener in the room with you. You know, it gives them a vibe. They're actually in the booth with you, which I always love albums like that. Like, or even I love songs that do that. They kind of call attention to the fact, like that the singer is singing in a vocal booth, rather than pretending it's something else,
breaking that fourth wall almost.
Exactly, yeah. And I remember there's an old Bobby Womack song where he does this and he does that. And he starts slagging off the engineer. He's obviously making up the lyrics at the top of his head. He says, even a little bitty engineer got his way of bringing a tear. And, he's slagging off the engineer. And I just love spontaneous stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think it really puts people... it's like breaking the fourth wall, as you're saying. It's kind of postmodernism in that way.
Yeah. I guess it'll only make sense at this point in the conversation. I had a question here because something on the press release says, with 12 members, obviously 7 core... you were nearly perceived as as a hip hop collective almost, in terms of appearance.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, if this isn't too much of a direct question, but what is your potentially favorite hip hop collective or just artists? Because I think we'll at this point break it up into maybe some Irish dudes, some single modern rappers, old rappers.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, Wu-Tang, forever, man. Obviously, Wu-Tang, killer, splash. I mean, Wu-Tang changed my life, really. I mean, the first album, I was like, the prayers, they're like...
Mantras, like...
Yeah, like, first of all, who's an A&R? A mountain climber who plays an electric guitar. He don't know the meaning of dope when he's looking for a suit and tie, rappers cleaning in the bar soap. None of the dirtiest thing inside. That to me was a prayer. I used to say that, fuck everybody. Or Mobb Deep, when they actually say that, fuck everybody, man. To me, that was... there was such a sense of individuality. Or even Company Flow, when he was talking about independent as fuck, and this kind of rejection of the establishment, rejection of record industry idiots, and rejection of conservatism, or kind of doing things to be popular.
Yeah. I guess that's the common thread too, I suppose, across it all. That's like what attracts us all to like hip hop and everything like that. Yeah,
sense of defiance, a sense of individualism in the face of oppression. And I
said it recently. I had Lethal Dialect. Like I was saying to him, like no one listens to rap for the Disney shit, if you know what I mean. Like you're not there for like the pop, like where you get just everything kind of like is just a bit too glitzy, a bit too written for you, a bit too packaged.
Yeah,
but you get like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of a particular, like say A$AP Rocky there was just locked up, in Sweden for the last month or so, like real shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But he says, he's a genius. He reminds me of Dipset a bit. Dipset is my favorite, but Cameron is one of my favorite rapper. But he reminds me of Dipset in the sense that he pushing the envelope. What's the kind of? There's one line he has. The kind of
both fresh bastards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A big time, and they go both really dark. But there's he got the one of the best ones. Who told his stupid field beep that they could own their masters. So he's making a pun about owning your master tapes. And make a reference to slavery. It's just a genius political line, and it's just he does it so casually. And Cameron does a lot of stuff like that.
It's overlooked. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And just the level of complexity and the level of slickness or the level of sophistication in terms of art with A$AP Rocky. I think Cameron is similar. The whole Genius website, Rap Genius website, was based on Cameron's line. From whipping the bacon rolls to whipping the bacon rolls, from Miracle Whip in a bacon sandwich to fucking pink Rolls Royce, It Rags to Riches story sent, with a homophone rap or whatever you call it. So he's using the same words to
two different things,
two different meanings. That's Shakespearean type of technique.
For sure.
Yeah. And to me, that's just a mastery of language. And Dipset is my favorite, really. I know if you even as a collective. Dipset, my favorite. To me, my favorite album is probably Purple Haze by Cameron. I just we got his shoes, Gucci, Prada. It's just the use of syllables. It's just I always related to just because that was my background. I related to the Renaissance, or if you think of Hegel had a fucking theory about art. There's different strands of art. There's different movements in art. One is the perfect union between form and content, which he said you'd find in like Roman sculpture or Greek sculpture. Well, the content and the form are kind of completely in sync, and you kind of have that in Shakespeare. But then after that, there's a more ornate period where you had Alexander Pope, who's more about the language and not about the content, more about the form, the style, the stylization. And then, to me, that Cameron was like, if you think of Jay-Z as a perfect union of form and content, or Biggie, then Cameron's he's kind of the later period, with the decadent period. There's always a decadent period in artistic movements where the style and the form becomes
been working out with Kinks and
and the style and the form become more ornate and more kind of decorative and more kind of baroque or whatever, more kind of extravagant. And to me, he was that. He reminds me of Alexander Pope in that way, because it's the language. Alexander Pope had a song called or a poem called "The Rape of the Lock," which is a big, massive, epic poem. But it's all about just this incident at a party where this guy cut off a lock of this woman's hair. And it makes this big, long, epic poem with using references to Greek mythology and everything. We're talking about a real small, kind of petty thing. Whereas, and I think there's something. If Cameron is always just saying, "I'm the best," I'm selling drugs.
Yeah.
But within the process of doing that, he's making these more profound experiments with language. That to me is the kind of art I like. I suppose I'm just drawn to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But so I love Dipset, and I love the stuff that's influenced by Dipset. I mean, and A$AP Rocky, I think, is in that tradition. And A$AP Ferg as well. I love his albums and mixtape. It's fantastic. It's really fun music.
So East Coast or West Coast? It's a bit of both.
Yeah, I love Atlanta music. I mean, Gucci Man is another one of my favorites. Yeah. I think he was mad underestimated when he first came out. I mean, he had a whole new different style.
I mean, look at like all the people he nearly single-handedly put on the map now that just dominates your, your Rap Caviar or your whatever it is on Spotify or
trap music or whatever. I mean, I didn't even think of it. That name is something my kids in school would tell me about. I was like, I just think it's Atlanta rap music, but it's really influenced the popular music as well. I mean, it's influenced pop. I mean, most of the vocal melodies you hear on modern pop songs have that kind of syncopation and those little.
That new Ariana Grande album, for example, and stuff like that. It's a good sort of blend between pop and trap and
and that cadence. I don't know who came up with that cadence. I think Chief Keef came up with that cadence. Did it? It's the shit like and that cadence now is dominant, and even Ariana Grande is using it with which I want it. I got it. It's the same cadence, and it came from. But that's always the case, isn't it? That it's the people. It's the kind of tertiary underground or artists that kind of come up with the innovations, and then the innovations are.
I think in this instance, though, I feel like I was going to say that it's still within the people that the tertiary, like if it is a Gucci Mane, like and the Atlanta scene, like I mean, I think it goes back to really like Outkast, like when. He won, I think it was like that speech he made at the Source or something like that.
And 2000.
Yeah, and it's like in the height of, it was like when it was Outkast, and it was in the height of like the beef between West Coast and East Coast. Yeah. And he was like booed off stage because Atlanta was seen as this like
Blackwater,
what the fuck is that? You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like literally booed off the stage, but then 25 years-ish later, like Atlanta's, making serious moves like.
Well, you're not beyond that. It's going to dominate the whole aesthetic
of music.
I mean, and I love it. I love Gucci Man. I think he's one of the best greatest geniuses in the history of that genre. I mean, I just love listening to his mixtapes and love listening to his albums.
He has tons of them.
And my favorite shit is just before he went into jail. Or when he was out of his mind on the fucking syrup. He's so his brain is so slowed down.
What's that First Day Out? Is that the track that he put out? Like,
oh, is it? Yeah. Oh, when he came out, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had some single or something. He had like a video and all, like literally nearly the day he was out. Like,
yeah, but his new mixtapes are fantastic as well. But I like that. Really sloppy kind of vibe you had just before you before he went into. I remember his Twitter was fucking hilarious at that time.
Yeah.
But no, he's a fucking just a genius. I mean, he's a real innovator. He's one of the guys like Louis Armstrong or something. They come up with a new way of thinking. You know, I think rhythmically, nobody really talks much about musicianship and rap.
Yeah.
His rhythmical approach, something completely different. You know what I mean? And because it's more staggered, it's more swung. It's kind of I just think that you know, I love Gucci Mane, but I suppose rap is my favorite music. I find myself, I keep coming back to it. I don't know why. I just think it's the greatest art form really ever created, because to me it mixes up the things I love, language and music and kind of and it's just so composite and so.
Yeah. When I was doing my research, it was the most reassuring thing where I kept seeing hip hop appear, and I was just like because as this more or less a hip hop show in terms of what we do, it's like that was just really like. I suppose, is there any other new cats? I'd be interested to think what you think of like an XX Tentacion, or I don't know if you've come across him.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Yeah, I mean, and
despite obviously all the controversies or whatever, but like the music and.
I love that music, and people call it mumble rap or whatever. I don't get that. I mean, I love Amigos and I love I mean, I like when people are innovative, and these guys, what do you call Drex? What you call man, Drex?
Drake or
no Drex something? There's this guy has a really staggered flow. It's just like I'm not sure if it's Drex or something, but
there's Famous Dex maybe.
Famous Dex,
yeah.
Yeah,
and 21 Savage.
Yeah.
I just love that. Like I listened to one of his albums recently. It's an album.
Yeah.
Man, that's fucking fantastic. I mean, that's almost like blues melodies, but his rhythmical attack is fantastic, and it's just it's innovative, you know.
And it's all referencing like in the samples. Then like there's. I can't think of one off, but there's some amazing uses of samples then referring to the content of jazz songs and like reappropriating them, and especially like a Kanye West or anyone else who's coming up around that time. And
I mean, Jesus, I mean, man, it's an amazing period for art. I mean, Kanye West is doing with the, what you call it,
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there's one where the use of the sample actually kind of links in with the subject of the song, and I can't remember what it is though.
Is that a Kanye song?
I think so. It might not be though. I know he has like
what album?
I'm blanking on it. I know he has like the Nina Simone and like
Blood on the Leaves.
I know it's that, but like I don't think it's that.
But all those albums he made during the last summer, the fucking all with 7 songs, the fucking Nas album is amazing.
Oh, stop.
Man, that album's beautiful. I think that's my favourite Nas album. And the fucking
favourite Pusha T album.
Oh man,
that Kid Cudi album.
Man, the Pusha T album is fucking amazing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Man, that's like what Kanye did that summer is a fucking testament to his fucking.
I know, and I was like producer of the year, and people were arguing with me. I was like,
oh, man, what the fuck? It's unbelievable. I mean, those productions are just fantastic, and those albums are just pure art, fucking precise, formally perfect.
Yeah,
and just so just fun to listen to. He's a fucking. They are great albums, and especially the Nas one. I just listened to that. Bonjour, you know that one. That's such a lovely lyrical kind of lush kind of. It's just, and it's a really good album for an older man to make, because it's kind of relaxed, but it has this kind of, and it's dignified,
444 as well. Did you listen to that much?
That's brilliant album. Yeah.
A lot of people like that as well.
And that's a sign that the maturity you can go into your late 40s and still make great albums, and it's great because it used to be renowned as being young man's music, but now it's kind of
definitely not.
Yeah,
even like Eminem, and like Mo K was saying Kamikaze is his favorite Eminem album, and that's probably pretty. Yeah, a lot of people might disagree with that, but like,
well, I mean, some of his new stuff I wouldn't be like, but I hate that fucking Trump rap he did. Did you see him, man?
That was the corniest thing.
What you call that comedian took the piss out of
Chris the Island.
Yeah.
It's fucking. It's true, like he's saying.
No, I mean I love Eminem, but I always found his flow just to be a bit too tidy or something. There's something very precise about it. You know? He reminds me of Steve Gadd, the drummer.
Yeah,
who's Steve Gadd's an amazing drummer, but he breaks everything down mathematically.
Yeah.
Whereas sometimes you need to
talk about the multis, and it's just a bit too like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that polyrhythmical shit. It's a bit too precise almost, but it doesn't have that kind of swing that you hear in And even Outkast, similarly, even though they are from Atlanta, they have that very kind of machine gun kind of attack.
Yeah.
I just prefer stuff that's kind of more bouncy, you know. Because I think you can take my music in terms of rectangles and circles, you know. And I like music that's kind of circular. That's usually bouncier stuff.
In terms of Irish hip hop, like anyone
actually.
you would rate. Obviously, not to the same artistry level as people we just mentioned.
I think Kojak is the best Irish rapper that ever lived. That's personally, but maybe I don't know enough about it. You probably know more about it than me, but I don't listen to enough of it. But when my girlfriend was playing his shit to me, I just think that to me is the template. Or at first I thought it was great as well, but obviously they're still doing satire, you know.
Yeah.
And satire is very much an Irish form. If you've gone back to Jonathan Swift, or you know.
Yeah.
Rubber Bandits and
exactly, and even our stuff was kind of parodic to some degree, you know, or there's a certain level of irony or self-awareness or kind of goofiness, and they're still in that mode, but they're musically they're fantastic. I just think he's able to do that, but also push the boat out a bit, you know.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of good by itself, regardless of any kind of
references or
yeah.
I think and I was from chatting to him that night, you could see that he's proper like intellectual, you know.
Yeah.
He's a very intelligent man, but to me, that's I don't. But to be honest with you, I don't listen to enough of it, and I'm gonna start listening more of it. And but I think it's fantastic. I always hoped that this would happen.
Yeah.
This era in Ireland, you know. I knew I wasn't never going to be able to do it, you know what I mean? Because I came from that kind of. I didn't have the skill set, but also I just did.
In terms of hip hop, you mean? Or?
Yeah. I mean, that was almost my favorite music, but I just knew that I just wouldn't be able to do it.
Because did you ever fuck around with it, or?
Not really. Some of it. I mean, there's a song on there.
Obviously,
yeah. There's kind of a semi-rapish, but it's done in an American accent. It's kind of cheesy, you know.
Yeah.
So, but to me, it's just fantastic. I mean, there's always good rappers. There's Scary Aaron.
Yeah,
of
course.
But I think with Kojak, it's kind of. I think he's the.
Yeah.
I think he's the kind of. To me, it's fully formed, you know, and it's fully formed, and it's better than most.
I think he beat a lot of people to like a really concise like EP. You know what I mean? Like he kind of really like captured on, as you say, like it was fully fleshed out, fully realized, and he got it out just when it was crescent, if you know what I mean. And there's a lot of people coming in the wake that, you know, are definitely like up and coming, but until I feel like I think you need that like definitive EP or that album or whatever that kind of cements it.
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend that I know more about Irish rap than I do, but I'll just say that for me, that just seems like. I mean, it just makes it captures the coolness of Ireland that a lot of music doesn't capture.
Yeah,
because Ireland is we're very sophisticated people. We're a literary society, you know.
Yeah, and always punched above our weight in a lot of respects.
Yeah, especially literature. Yeah, I mean, most of the if they got the best novelist of the 20th century was Joyce. The best playwright was Beckett, and the best poet was Yeats. So we hit all three.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's from a tiny country. So,
certainly.
So I, you know, and I think that kind of level of intelligence, and sophistication, and all the kind of the cynicism that is part of Irish culture. You know, because Kojak actually is quite dark. I mean, and you know, and that I think that's. To me, that sounds like Ireland. That sounds like the real Ireland that we all know, you know, that we know. But it's very hard for it to be expressed in music. And in other cultures, they think of us as being kind of happy, or else over emotional or sentimental, or whether it's U2 or I mean, U2 is great, but it's very much this kind of very emotional, and honest, open music without the kind of darkness and the cynicism that is really, I think, at the root of our culture.
Yeah,
because we always, if you read Brendan Behan or. I think there's historical reasons for that, and one of them is we don't believe in kings and queens, you know, because we you know we always thought they were the oppressor, so we were always cynical about structures and about ideologies. I'm hugely suspicious of ideology and of establishment or norms, or so. I think it's part of our DNA, and it's great to hear music that kind of expresses it so well, you know.
Yeah, it's all kicking off now.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, great.
Next couple of years, like.
Yeah.
I'm delighted. I mean, I think it's brilliant for the culture.
Yeah.
And I hope they start taking off big time in other
No doubt,
countries.
yeah.
Yeah, well, Kojak's doing all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's turning around. Yeah.
Yeah, increasingly getting across the pond as well, which is good to see. So
Yeah, big time.
I suppose just circling back to this album we have here in front of us, with revisiting the last sort of 4 albums and kind of going back and picking the final selection, how was that process? Or, you know, I suppose just how I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, we didn't put anything off the 4th album because even though I would have liked something, it's just that a lot of lads who were the original lineup weren't in that, and it wouldn't be fair, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, what's the songs again?
Have a run through them.
Yeah, the steady. Yeah, well, obviously we had to put the kind of radio hits on it. The steady song.
Actually, if you could touch on the radio hits, I suppose, like how,
Yeah.
because people want to hear, I suppose, like how those songs were written, how they were recorded. What were things like around the times of?
Well, it's pretty funny. Most of them are written in party situations.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and it's funny about the good songs that it's funny about the good songs. The songs that have lasted, they're the ones that were written. And I remember Comeback, it was like, Brez had this riff flying around. He was playing it every now and again. I said, "Fucking hell, man, that's amazing." And but I never thought about a melody for it. And then I ended up on a major bender for like 3 days, and I came into the rehearsal and I was in my mind, and and the lads were mad pissed off, but they were playing the riff. And I just sat up on the mic, and the first thing that came in my mouth was "Smack Comeback," and I just kept repeating it. I came up with the hook straight away. And then that was the basis of that. And then I refined it over the next few weeks, obviously. And then another night, me and Brez went out in the piss. We hadn't been talking for a while, and we went out on the lash, and we had a great crack. I was back in his gaff, just smoking joints and drinking beers, and he played me in a new demo. And it was the riff of the steady song, and I just came up with the melody straight away there.
What was it like hearing that for the first time?
Amazing. I mean, when he plays me, he used to give me CDs full of amazing riffs.
Yeah. I was going to say, is there, like, surely kind of when you hear it for the first time, you don't necessarily know, like, how big it's going to be. Did you ever get the feeling about a different song that didn't pop off, or, you know, in the same way, or?
No, I think you know. When I heard that riff,
you did know it.
Yeah, when I heard that riff, I knew it was killer.
Yeah,
you know, and it was up to me to come up with a melody that was not going to fuck it up. Generally, it's most immediate ones. The ones that you are the most immediate to write. Like, I think this is the case of most pop songs. The quicker you write them, the better. If you have to labor too much over something, sometimes it's. Yeah. But then again, that doesn't necessarily make a great art. You can labor over a song for 7 years, it'd be great. I mean, Leonard Cohen apparently used to take years and years to write songs. So I don't think there's any particular way to skin a cat, but with that kind of immediate pop music, I think it's good to do it. I mean,
just sort of flows or channels, like.
Yeah, exactly. But then you have to edit it afterwards, because that riff was, for a steady song, for example, was so good that I just kept getting loads more melodies. And then the problem is I had too many melodies. Yeah. And then the process just, and this is usually the case, just editing. That was the hard part with us. Yeah. We used to have too many ideas, you know, and we'd have too many songs. We never short songs. We just had so many melodies and ideas. To us, we just had to keep editing, and that was the hard part, you know. And what I like music was, he gave me the demo, and I thought it was amazing, because it was very like a Dipset song. I can't remember what it was, but he was listening to Dipset at the same time as me, and we were both kind of on the same page. But he kind of made this poppy version of Dipset, you know, of a Dipset loop. And then I was just, smoked a joint, was walking around to the chipper, and the melody came into my head, and and then in the verses, I kind of made them up in the studio. I was never happy with the verses, but
how come?
I thought it was a bit cheesy, but you know, because I was making lyrics up in the vocal booth. I was just kind of and the melody, and then I had to go back and edit it. But in retrospect, it's not too bad. It's just kind of pop music, but I see. I always like the more serious stuff. But looking back, I think that's because I was insecure about about the thing being not taken seriously or something. You know, whereas looking back, it was fun music. That's what it was. So I don't really feel as embarrassed about it as I used to.
Yeah.
What about the new stuff then? Is that more kind of sophisticated, more kind of thought out?
Yeah, I say it's a bit more complex. Yeah, I mean, there's media. I have a few goofy songs in there as well.
Yeah.
I have one called about myself. It's
Mr. Pyro.
Yeah, that's it.
Right,
Yeah. So there's some cheesy kind of goofy stuff, and there's some more serious stuff. But it's a mixture of both. But that was always the case. I mean, there's songs in there as well that were more serious, like
Yeah.
well, Ride With Us maybe, or 13 Shots is kind of a sincere song. But
hold on, guys, I'm gonna dash to the loo, unfortunately. So yeah, Mick, thanks so much for coming down. It was fucking sick, man, having you here. Yeah, so I guess if you wouldn't mind just signing the vinyl, I think we're gonna give this away to a listener. And
actually, like, yeah, what if nobody wants it? That's
there's a lot of people out there that definitely want that, including him. So you can just give it to him.
I'm scared nobody will want it.
He'll definitely have it.
All right.
It's a fix to begin with, to be honest.
Cool.
So
You
might as well.
Well, there is one person out there. To my only fan, thank you so much for accepting this. It's the honour of my fucking life. What am I supposed to do? Sign this?
Yeah. I guess just
So Mik Pyro, is it?
Yeah.
Mik Pyro the Great.
That's sick, man.
Beautiful.
Are you going to do so I can have it?
Yeah, see, there's two people in contention already.
We'll do rock, paper, scissors.
Yeah.
We share it.
Yeah, man, this has been an absolute treat. I guess you touched on it there. Any upcoming gigs, any new kind of songs pending or?
Well, I'm doing a gig on October 4th in Wales. Fucking do my own gig in there again. So we have a great band. Smiley, you know Smiley. He's
Yeah.
And Sam on the bass, you know, SOL.
Oh yeah, from Super City.
He's killer, and then we got Darryl Kelly on the keys. He's amazing jazz guy. So it's a great band. We're doing that. We're doing some Lucia and some of my own new shit.
Yeah.
Same as the last time, Whelan's.
All right.
That's sick. Yeah. Man, honestly, thanks so much for coming down again.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, find you online, see you at the gigs, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Mik Pyro. That's how I spell my name because I'm an individual. Thanks very much, lads.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks,